Saturday afternoon in the Southland Conference. It's the New Orleans Privateers, the McNeese Cowgirls here from the Human Performance Center in the Southland Conference matchup here as we turn the page to the second half of conference play. And it's coming up next here at the University of New Orleans and the Human Performance Center. Privateers and the Cowgirls. McNeese with a 7-3 conference mark. New Orleans coming off a tough match against Northwestern State on Thursday. Live silent. Later on here, Easton and Bailey, she has just been was very strong in 3 so far in conference play heading into today. And for the Privateers, the player spotlight today, it's going to be on freshman setter Defne Eciroglu. Defne has really seen the assist numbers start to pile up as they've gone to more of a 5-1, and Defne has really been kind of the quarterback of this offense as the setter. And Coach Preston talking about Defne that she's just really proud of her growth running a 5-1, and her defense has picked up as well. And she's understanding who to set at the right time. And as a freshman, you kind of get thrown into the fire. But Defne is really starting to use her voice and becoming a lot more confident as the season goes along. Coach Preston also said that it has to be a feel for a setter of who to set at what time. And she's glad to have Tamia Dockery, who's able to work with her and the setters on that strategy. Privateers and McNeese getting set to do battle here. Lakefront at the HPC, and we'll take you through the starting lineups, which are being introduced right now for the Privateers and for the Cowgirls. For New Orleans, Jalen Gunderson is going to get the start on the outside. Defne Eciroglu, the setter, who we just mentioned. Chandler Lee, Lonnie Rachkovska, Courtney Roundtree, and Karen Cordero Barr, along with the libero Lainey Alamar. Meanwhile, for McNeese, their starting lineup will read as follows. Sunny Rantanen, along with Mackenzie Moore, Carissa Cheney, Emma Hendricks, the setter, Kendall Osgood, along with Shalonda Juke, and the libero is Bailey Tillman, who we mentioned at the top. McNeese team trying to keep pace up near the top of the standings right now. Meanwhile, the Privateers trying to pick up some momentum here in the back half of conference play against Northwestern State on Thursday night. As there you see the starting lineups on the screen there. For New Orleans against Northwestern State, it was a tough environment and, of course, a tough match, but the Privateers showed a lot of grit and a lot of determination, especially in that second set, which went the longest of any set by a Privateer team this season, 33-31, but Northwestern State came in on the top end of that. Privateers and Northwestern State were actually tied at 22-all in set number 3, but Northwestern State wound up getting the last 3 points to finish out the match in their favor. Privateers in their blue uniforms this afternoon. Meanwhile, McNeese with the white uniforms and the gold numbering and lettering with McNeese across the front. We are set to do battle here between two Southland foes and two foes that know each other very well, separated by about a little over 3 hours of a drive from New Orleans, of course, to Lake Charles. The Privateers under the direction of Ashley Preston in her 3rd season. Meanwhile, McNeese under the direction of Sasha Karolov in her 2nd year at the helm of the Cowgirls. Now you see Coach Preston. 5th biggest win turnaround last season, and really had to do it all over again with a very young team, 9 freshmen as we documented, along with 12 newcomers. And it certainly has been a process in trying to grow match by match. And there's Coach Karolov in her 2nd season. Tough non-conference schedule for McNeese to really have to deal with, but they have really picked it up very well in conference play. It is going to be Eciroglu to start this one on serve here for the Privateers. Defne puts this one in play. Early set here to the middle for a kill attempt. That goes wide, and a point for New Orleans. That was Juve from the middle. Very international flair, not only for the Privateers roster, but for McNeese as well. Juve out of France. Eciroglu puts this one in play. Serve receive, that's going to be set to the middle again for Juve, and she hits that one into the net, and the point here for New Orleans. So very intentional about trying to set the middle here and trying to get Juve going quickly. But a couple of miss hits and a couple of points for the Privateers, the beneficiary of that. Setting outside this time, a bit of miscommunication. Easy dig for Alamo. Set to the middle for Roundtree, and Courtney Roundtree puts that one away with purpose and power, and New Orleans out quickly to a 3-0 advantage. Eciroglu again to put this one in play on the service. Received, and now Hendricks is going to set this one for Juve again. There's Cordero to dig. And now Gunderson, her first swing, high off the block. It's punched and cannot be kept alive further as it went backwards. So Jalen Gunderson will get a point on her first kill, or first attempt, of the set and of the match. Went high off the block, gave McNeese a chance to really cover back there. But the dig attempt off the block actually went backwards. Serve received cleanly. Now set here to the outside, and that one goes out with no touch, and a point for the Privateers. And an early timeout here for Coach Karoloff, as that was Cheney on the miss hit that time, and New Orleans out to a 5-0 advantage here through set number 1. We'll take the timeout with them. You're tuned to College Volleyball on ESPN+.
You hear that? This cheesesteak is so freshly grilled, you can still hear it sizzling. Listen. The sizzling, the chopping, the spatula.
Mike's and weight with less debt. So after graduation, you can focus on what's important. Your future. Apply.uno.edu.
Back here at the Human Performance Center, and for McNeese, there's been a bit of a scuffle so far to try to get their offense going with any type of efficiency right now. McNeese, 3 attack errors that the Privateers have been able to jump on. And Eciroglu will continue to serve here. McNeese has adjusted well to Defne's service. The last couple of receptions have been a bit cleaner, but that one was not, and that'll be a point for Roundtree and the Privateers. Courtney will get credit for that one. There was a violation there at the net on McNeese's side. Just as I was starting to say that it seemed like McNeese was starting to stay in system more on the serve receive. It was not to be on that occasion. Now it's set to the outside for Cheney. Block back continued though by Tillman. Cheney again a try, and she taps it nicely over the block. Change of speeds by Carissa Cheney there. And Cheney gets McNeese on the board. The leader of this offense with 266 kills entering the match. 3.3 kills per set. And she's also second on the team in service aces. It's Juve back to serve here for the Cowgirls. She puts this one in play. There's Cordero with the reception. Set it up for Roundtree, and Roundtree powers it through the block and down for a point for New Orleans. Courtney Roundtree with a couple of early kills here. And now a sub on the service rotation. It's Tate Mercer in for Jalen Gunderson, and Mercer to serve. Great fire being shown by the Privateers, but McNeese really hasn't gotten their footing yet on the other side of the net. Serve received cleanly, and now set to the outside, and that one nicely dug by Alamo in great position. Here's Lee, her first swing, and that one ricochets once, twice, and cannot be returned over. So Chandler Lee gets the kill. Almost a great dig by Bailey Tillman. Certainly wouldn't have been the first for Bailey, but unable to keep that one alive any further with the Cowgirls, and a point for Lee in New Orleans. Mercer sends it deep and out. He's got a little bit underneath that one. That time did Tate Mercer. Service error gives it back to McNeese. Now Mackenzie Moore, the junior middle out of Tomball, Texas, to serve. Serve deep, angled. Mercer receives, set it up here. Cordero a try, and that one goes out. Too deep from Karen. Karen, who just crested the 200 kill mark on Thursday and had her 5th double-double of the season as well, with 15 kills and 18 digs against Northwestern State. But a miss hit that time, too deep, and Moore to serve again for McNeese. Moore sends it deep. This one to Mercer, a bit of a flat reception, but still compromised, and Lee gets it over. McNeese digs it out. Free ball sent right back. Eciroglu sets it low for Roundtree. Block back continued. Alamon bump sets. Cordero outside the pin, cross court. There's Tillman. Set it up here from Hendricks. A swing and a kill for McNeese. And a Point for the Cowgirls, and McNeese trying to claw their way back into this set after trailing 5-0 and then 7-1. It's now 8-4 New Orleans. Moore sends it deep, and there is Mercer. Now set it up, Roundtree sends it deep and down. Courtney Roundtree able to get enough power to get it past everybody, but enough touch as well to get it down in play. Alamont sends this one, skims the tape over. Now set it up from Hendricks, a kill attempt that goes for McNeese. That was Cheney. Now Cheney back to serve here for the Cowgirls. Well, so far, a much different tenor than the match in Lake Charles that these two teams played in late September as Mercer receives, set it up for Lee, blocked, but there was Mercer to cover. Now set it up, Lee another try, taps it over the block, but Tillman alert to it, and then the center dump. Eciroglu tried to dig it out, could not. Hendricks will get credit for the point there for McNeese. Emma Hendricks, the setter out of Layton, Utah, pulls the Cowgirls to within 3. Get back to that note in a moment about the first time these two teams played as Mercer just stayed with that service. Lee off the block. That one dug it on the back row. Cheney now set it up in the middle, and that's Sonny Rantanen puts that one down for the kill. And now a timeout called by Coach Preston. Gives us a chance to talk about that first match between the two teams as well. We'll talk about that in just a moment as McNeese has come back from a 7-point deficit, and they have cut it down to 2. For a great, as you see, quarterback takes a knee right by the jersey of Ronnie Caldwell. A team huddle and prayer that commenced after that. Of course, we would like to extend our heartfelt condolences to Ronnie Caldwell's family, his friends. Back here at the Human Performance Center in New Orleans, raced out to a 7-1 lead. While McNeese had swept the Privateers the first time these two teams played in Lake Charles and really did not concede any early leads of that caliber in any sets. Really had the measure of control throughout the match. And so far today, certainly much different at the outset, but McNeese starting to get their bearings about them. Cheney serve, received that time by Mercer. Eciroglu bump set this one for Lee, sends it deep, but there is Cheney. Hendricks sets it outside for Juf, and that one is stuffed down, Kayla Wilson, I'm sorry. Wilson stuffs that one down in front of the block. Now McNeese within 1. Cheney sends this one deep over to Mercer, and that one is tight set from Eciroglu. Cordero gets blocked, and that one stays in bounds. It started to angle toward the side. It just stayed in there, tucked in neatly for a block from McNeese. Tied at 9. And that early advantage gone for New Orleans. Serve deep, and that's an ace. It went a bit sideways off of Mercer, and now the Privateers, for the first time today, are behind. Marissa Cheney sends this one deep. Cordero there. Eciroglu will set this one. It's for Cordero. Pushes that one. Rantanen digs that one out. Here's Wilson with a try. That one goes out. McNeese, a half-hearted appeal for a touch, but will get none, and a point for New Orleans. This hit that time by Wilson. And now Micah Hall checks in. Micah, of course, played on Thursday night. She had 9 digs, but she had missed the last 6 weeks due to injury. And Micah back in the lineup and in the rotation. So important for the Privateers defensively on the back row as Hendricks dumps that one down. She was in tight at the net, uses a setter dump that time, and was very deliberate about it, certainly, which you have to be when you're choosing to go with those types of plays as a setter. Cannot be tentative. That's a high float short serve. Mercer receives. Eciroglu sets it up for Cordero, and there's a touch and a point for the Privateers. Landed out, but a touch before then. Karen Cordero bar. The Privateers back on serve, and we're tied at 11. So a big run by New Orleans to start. A big run by McNeese to erase the deficit. And now we're on level terms. Cordero serves, and that one is received and now set up for Cheney. Alamon digs. Here's a setup for Gunderson, and that one is blocked out of bounds, so a point for New Orleans. Well, the block was there. Juf was there to set it up, but it went sideways off the block out of bounds. So Jalen Gunderson gets credit for the kill, and the Privateers back on top by 1. And here is Cordero. Sends it over to Cheney. Now Hendricks sets it up. This is for Wilson, and that was rejected at the net. Wilson tried to change speeds, but Rachkovska timed the jump perfectly. She was in support with Eciroglu as well. Lonnie Rachkovska, one of the many freshmen on this team. Big presence in the middle and only continuing to get more and more confidence with more playing time as Cordero sends the service into the net. And it's a point for McNeese. Cowgirls back on serve, down 1. And here is Hendricks now to serve it for the Cowgirls. Left-handed. Emma Hendricks sends it deep over and out. Hits the E in New Orleans. Just beyond the end line and a point for the Privateers. So a change of service errors between both sides. 14-12. Rachkovska sends the serve over, and that went to Cheney. Tillman hustles to bump set it for Wilson. High off the block with time. There was Hall. Now set it up Roundtree. Rattles the net, but kept alive on the dig by Rantanen. Now Wilson a try, and Wilson sends that one through and down. And Kayla Wilson with the kill from McNeese. Cowgirls back within a point. Substitution here as Osgood checks in for Wilson on rotation, and it is Kendall Osgood back to serve. Another look at that last kill from Kayla Wilson. Entertaining first set thus far. Serve over, Cordero calmly receives, and now slide play, Roundtree. Nice dig in the back row by Osgood. Set it up, Cheney. Spins off the block. In tight at the net was Gunderson. Now Eciroglu, a free ball sent back over and down. Well, there was one McNeese player who was trying to duck out of the way of that one. I'm not sure if that was Hendricks or somebody else. That may have been more, but I think that just kind of threw everything out of balance there for McNeese. It was Hendricks. Great job by a replay crew as Eciroglu serve. This could be a free ball, and Roundtree is there to pounce for the point. Courtney Roundtree was there at the net in New Orleans, trying to gain some separation at a critical stage in this set. Their lead is 3, 16-13. Eciroglu again to serve. Defne sends this one high and over and short. And now bump set here on the outside, cross court, and that lands in. Well, McNeese seemed like they were kind of out of sorts there, but a nice angle shot there by Mackenzie Moore. Still got the point for McNeese. Even when you look like you have this team in McNeese on their heels, they still find a way to generate offense. They do have some experience back there. Free ball off the reception, but it almost threw McNeese for a loop, and then a block at the net. Roundtree and Gunderson were there. A thunderous block between Jalen Gunderson and Courtney Roundtree. As we take another look at that one. Big swing, bigger block there. Set up perfectly, jumps time perfectly. In nice harmony. Mercer sends it deep and just out. Just drifted beyond the end line there from Tate Mercer, and a point on the service error for McNeese. New Orleans down by, or up by 2, 17-15. Mackenzie Moore now to serve. Moore sends it on an angle. There was Mercer. Now Eciroglu bump sets it. Cordero from the 10-foot line. That one dug out on the back line by Osgood. Now a swing from the back row, too deep and out from Moore, and a point for New Orleans. Well, McNeese just hasn't quite had the efficiency that we've been used to seeing them have. As there's the hitting percentage. McNeese right now hitting in an .087 clip. Serve deep and out. The line judge taking evasive action as that one was going towards the back corner. She scooted out of the way, all while keeping the eyes on the ball to make the correct call on the service error, and a point for McNeese. Now Cheney to serve it here for the Cowgirls. New Orleans leading 18-16 as we're pretty late on here in this first set. Serve over to Cordero. Now Eciroglu will set this one. Karen over the block, but there was Moore with cover. Now Wilson a swing. Block back and out of bounds. Tillman started to keep her eyes on it, but wisely let it go as she saw it was going to go out of the court. And a point for Kayla Wilson. Cheney, line drive serve to Alamo, and now Eciroglu had to hustle to that one. Lee will lean into one. That one dug out on the back row by Cheney. Now Hendricks sets it up. Wilson just inside the 10-foot line. There's Cordero with cover, going to her right. Now Lee a swing. Good position by Tillman. Now set to the middle. That one dug out nicely by Mercer on the other side for the Privateers. Cordero again, cross court. Good dig again by Tillman. And now a double contact will be called. I believe that was Rantanen, who was put in a very uncomfortable position there at the net. (1917) New Orleans. Very spirited rally, and you saw a glimpse of why Bailey Tillman is leading the Southland Conference and is among one of the national leaders in digs as well. Micah Hall's serve received cleanly. Now set it up for a kill attempt. That goes for more. For Rantanen, I'm sorry. 19-18 is your score. New Orleans leading narrowly. Tillman serve. Mercer receives. Alamo will bump set this one. Cordero will lean into one. High off the block. Tillman, a ton of time, gets there. Another dump from Hendricks, and it works like a charm. That is her third kill of the set. Emma Hendricks, the setter, coming up with 3 kills in this set, and that a crucial one to get the Cowgirls back on level terms at 19 all. Tillman to serve again, deep. Hall covers to her right just as Alamon there. Bump set. Cordero with the offhand is blocked. And now a timeout will be called by Coach Preston, as the block was set up nicely at the net by Joof and by Hendricks as well. Emma Hendricks has come up with some big offensive plays here from McNeese as an attacker, as she's used the setter dump really to her advantage thus far in this first set. As we take a look at the series history coming into today, McNeese leads the all-time series 33-20. They have had certainly the measure of control since the Privateers joined the Southland 10 years ago. McNeese has won 15 of 17 matches when these two teams have been Southland foes. Here in New Orleans, though, it's been pretty even. The Privateers have won 10, McNeese has won 9. You see McNeese has won the last 6, and we did reference that last meeting on September 23rd, where the Cowgirls won in Lake Charles 3-0. And that was, of course, unfortunately, a match where Ava Kennan, great freshman middle, was injured. She has not returned since. Hopefully, Ava will be back in the rotation soon, but currently not available due to injury that she sustained in that match over in Lake Charles. So you see Coach Karolov, and if McNeese can really trudge through this, despite not having the efficiency offensively that we're normally used to seeing, it'll certainly be a big boost to their confidence. Meanwhile, for the Privateers, we talked with about Coach Preston, or with Coach Preston, about just getting over that hump in these situations. They've found themselves in some very competitive sets here, more and more lately, but it's about finishing at this point for the Privateers and finishing consistently, and that's really going to be the next step for this young team. Tillman again to serve. McNeese ahead by 1. She sends it over. Hall gets underneath. Eciroglu will set it, and it's just going to be a free ball sent over. Now an opportunity for McNeese. That's blocked back, but continued nicely, and then rolling out of the way, Tillman. Another block, and that's down. Rachkovska was there the first time, and she was there again. Alani Rachkovska says, "Thou shalt not pass." Eciroglu was there in support as well. And Alani with the block, and we're tied at 20 all. Cordero sends it over. Serve cleanly received, and now set here for Wilson off the block. Alamov there. Now set it up here. That's a tight one, and that's outside the antenna for Gunderson. Gunderson was really in a difficult spot from that set. She really had to try to angle that one, but that was really difficult to do anything with. McNeese leading again by 1. Serve, and that one, Cordero. Hall has to chase it down, and now a free ball sent over. But the Privateers felt it might have gone out there. They weren't in the best position to receive it, and then a kill for McNeese. That's more. Privateers are out of timeouts. McNeese does have one left. 22-20 Cowgirls. Hendricks takes a deep breath, sends it over on the service. Cordero pops it high in the air. Two Privateers almost converge on it. Deep swing from Cordero, dug out on the back row. Here's Wilson outside the pin. There's Hall with the dig. Now Gunderson will wind and fire, and that's blocked. That is blocked down, and that is Juf along with Moore. And McNeese putting their stamp on the late stages of this one. Privateers right now are in trouble in the scoreline. 23-20, McNeese leads. Hendricks once again to serve. Hendricks will send it over cleanly. And on a line drive, Hall was there to receive. Now Gunderson a try, dug out by Tillman. Set from in tight. Juf blocked back, but continued as Rachkovska turned it away. Another swing, this time from the outside, and that's a kill for Moore. Hall tried to get underneath, but too much power and pace from Moore. And the Cowgirls from 19 all, now on the verge of set point. Hendricks to send this one over. She sends it into the net. Went for the real competitive serve, but just caught that one too low, and it hit the bottom half of the net. Now Rachkovska to try to keep the Privateers in this set. For New Orleans, got to take it one rally at a time. Serve over, receive Cheney. Hustling underneath to set it, Hendricks. Wilson will lean into one. There's Rachkovska with the dig from the back row nicely. Gunderson from right by the 10-foot line. Tillman right there. Now set it up with a slide play, and that's tipped over and down by Moore, and that is the set to McNeese. The Cowgirls have taken this first set after a rocky start, 25-21. McNeese in set number one, and now the Cowgirls have a 1-set-to-none lead here in the match. We'll take the break and come back in just a moment. You're tuning to College Volleyball on ESPN+.